The views, comments, and opinions of the following program do not necessarily reflect those of Morris Media Studios, MorrisMediaLive.com, or its affiliates. Listener discretion is advised.
Good morning.
Good morning. It's Friday.
Friday, which is always my Monday. Welcome to Morris Media Live Studios and Next Level Convo with Brenda and Khadija.
Yes.
Good morning. Hi. How was your week?
My week was pretty good, pretty productive, some harsh truth. You got to keep grinding even when times get tough.
Exactly.
And yeah, it was pretty good. My weekend was good. How was yours?
Oh, it was interesting, different, some changes, as always trying to elevate yourself.
Always evolving.
Right, and just trying to grow. And I think just becoming the best that you could be. People think that it's simple, but it's a task. It's a journey within itself, just becoming your best. So it was wonderful. I had a good week. Yeah. I've been really productive as well, busy, and I'm pushing my real estate.
Mm-hmm. Always.
And just trying to, educate people in that particular field. But we'll get to that a little bit later in the show. I just wanted to say good morning to everyone. And, of course, I always start off with my Nipsey Corner. Mm-hmm. And I do that not as a fad or anything, but because there was so much knowledge and information and education behind that situation that I think it's important that we share it and that other people are aware of it. And if we can just touch one person and have an understanding of what that brother meant, I think that's wonderful. Because, when something good happens, you want to share that.
Yeah.
And it's not good what happened as far as him personally, but the result of something like that, it's a good thing for us to be able to share. Because so many of us, we lose so many soldiers and so many beautiful people that are not recognized, that no one ever know what their real accomplishments were or, their achievements.
He should be celebrated.
Yes. So because he hit our young generation and an older generation as well, but it was such an influence. I don't want the culture to die. I cannot allow myself to let that happen. So that's why I say the marathon continues, and that's why I support the brother, because of all the positive things that came out of that. And there's so many. It is unbelievable.
But I did push for that. He, wanted to teach us, educate us, inform us,
and show by example.
Yeah. Show by example, and I think that's great that he had the ability to do that in his time span of being here. And like I said, I think he should continue to be celebrated, and we should continue to spread everything that he was trying to have us spread. So I agree, and I appreciate that you do your nip corner, and you continue to spread him.
Right.
Spread everything he believed in. So like you said, the marathon does continue.
But here was a quote. Because he gave a quote, and I like to share that. It was a really simple and to the point. He said, "The luck is just a thing that is saying that you're prepared when the opportunity presents itself. Mm-hmm. It's just a thing that is showing that you are prepared when the opportunity presents itself." I thought that was really just to the point and very deep, because we need to be prepared. And it doesn't matter
I like that.
Yeah.
It could always be on your side as long as you're prepared. It's not luck that you just happen to have it. No, you were prepared for that moment, and you were prepared for that opportunity, and that's why you got granted that opportunity. I like that. I like that.
That's what I was on. So I'm on that, and I'm really, really, really happy to be able to share that with everyone, because it is about us being prepared for the opportunity. So that means that just take it on another level, a bird's eye view. Different perspective is that if you have your goals, then you have your vision board, and then you have your project board. So the goals are in your mind. Your vision board is what your vision is, and your project board is the steps to complete the vision. And if you have those things in order, when the opportunity presents itself, then you're ready. It's tools for life.
Yeah.
That's just one perspective of that quote to share with everyone, is that we have to just be prepared. We have to be ready. We have to do a little bit more just more. I know we all think that we're doing, so much, and we are. A lot of us are. But at the same time, I challenge myself and I ask myself, can I do more? What else can I do? How can I be a factor?
No, I totally agree with you. I totally agree. And I really like the quote that you chose because, like I said, you said, you're being prepared when that opportunity arises. Mm-hmm. And I think a lot of us sometimes are not prepared, and that's why we miss our opportunities or feel like things aren't falling in place, or we're putting in all this work and nothing's happening. But really, you had multiple opportunities, but at that time, you weren't prepared. You didn't have your things in order. You didn't have it.
Step 1, 2, and 3,
you didn't have it together.
Checking it off.
Exactly. So we happen to miss a lot of our opportunities like that. So I really like that quote. If you are prepared, you are the lucky one.
Right. Exactly.
If you are prepared,
you are
the lucky one.
Exactly. And that's the thing. But
it's like a job interview.
Yes, it is.
The person that gets the job interview usually is the one that fits the criteria and that is prepared for the job.
Did the research, understood what were the requirements, and then met those requirements.
Yeah. So that person might seem like the lucky person walking out of that interview, and the other person that didn't get it feels, sad, but the person that got it came prepared.
Exactly. There it is, right there in a nutshell. And we can't get any deeper than that other than goals, vision board, projects, and steps to complete the project with execution dates. And I found that to really work for myself. Mm-hmm. Because you can get stagnated. I don't care who you are, how old you are. There are points when stagnation sets in. And so in order to break that, it is just what he said. Mm-hmm. And so we all have to be prepared, or at least know that and plant that seed that you need to be prepared, and that will push you and be your driving motivational force to be prepared when the opportunity presents itself, because it will present itself.
Mm-hmm. It will. There's always an opportunity out there.
Right,
I like
so
that you quoted that. Yeah, the marathon does continue.
So.
And I like that you quoted that because my quote today was, dreams don't work unless you do. So you could dream something and you could want something, but unless you go after it in preparation for it, it will not happen. So they kind of work together.
Yes, it did.
It kind of works together,
awesome.
But dreams don't work unless you do. So whatever you're dreaming, I feel like if you have an idea, it's possible to make that idea reality. But to make that idea reality, you have to put in the work. And it's not, I'm going to try it for a few weeks or a few months. Sometimes it's years. You just never know when that opportunity might come. But whenever that opportunity does come, you have to be prepared. But you have to put the work in to make that reality come true.
Absolutely. I have a badge that says, do the work. Just simply do the work, and you have to really do the work. And I'm glad that's hand in hand. So that's a strong message today to our listening audience and viewers, is that we have to be prepared. And if we are in a position where we can prepare someone else, or at least give them the tools where they can prepare themselves, more than anything, is the most important thing, is that they can giving the tools so they can prepare themselves. We need to be responsible to do that. Because in order for a change to happen, we need to make sure that we're all putting in what we can to make that change happen. And that's educating our youth, and sometimes educating our elders. Mm-hmm. Because there is wisdom that can come from anybody. Yeah. And if we can take it and utilize it to make a difference in our lives, I think that's the most important thing. And we have to make a change. And as I always say, even though Nip's Corner is closed, I say the marathon is not about the money. It was basically about our culture and our development, and us being able to do better as a culture. As a culture.
And
because we're
Nip
rich.
Understood that.
Yes. Yeah. We're super rich. And we...
So talented.
I know, we don't even realize that.
So talented in so many different ways, so many different aspects. Oh my gosh, I think we're so blessed, man.
And I think a little bit of that is also understanding our history. We need to do better with understanding our history. I'm not saying live in the past. I'm not saying take the past and do anything negative with it. I'm just suggesting that we take our past, we learn our past, and we learn from it, and we improve our now to help our future.
Mm-hmm. They say history repeats itself, and I believe it repeats itself because we don't study the history
the way we should.
Because if you study something, then it gives you the opportunity to learn from that and grow from it, so that you don't make those same mistakes. But if you don't know what happened in the past and you just starting out, you tend to recycle those same mistakes. And like you said, history will repeat itself. So I think it's important to learn the history and not to, sorrow in it or be sad about it or anything. It's just a learning lesson, to help you. Like the marathon, it's a race. So you could take that baton and keep going instead of starting over every time at the start line.
Right. And it's just important. It's important that we do that. And that was one of the things that I wanted to really, really share, is that the marathon does continue and that it is about us becoming better people. Mm-hmm. And I can't say it enough.
Yeah. And it's hard because there's so many distractions, so many distractions, whether it could be, some type of substance, the environment, the people you're around. It's just so many things TV, so many things that could distract you. So sometimes it can be hard to stay on that path and, stay focused. But when you can overcome that and block out those distractions and stay focused on the prize and where you want to go and what you want to do.
And being prepared.
Yeah. Back to being prepared, yes.
Being prepared. If you are prepared, yes. And part of that process is just, like we said, having the goals, having the vision board, having the project board, having the steps, having execution dates. That's all a part of our lives. But I did want to touch on some news that I heard this morning, which was breaking news. One of our stellar, beautiful queens passed today, which was Diane Carroll. And she starred. This was her.
Did she play in that one movie?
Claudine. We'll go to that.
Was she had the kids?
Right, Claudine. But I'm glad you even had an opportunity because you are a different generation.
No, and I was going to say that when you first said the name, I was like, ooh, Stella, I'm not sure if I might know who that is. But once you showed the picture, I'm like, oh, okay, I remember seeing her in a movie. Right. But that was definitely before my generation.
It was definitely before you. The fact is that I still have the movie and I still watch it in order for you to be aware of it. But Julia this was the first African American woman or black woman on national television. Oh, wow. Period. Mm-hmm. Period. And that was breaking. Yeah. That was groundbreaking. There were people
she gave the opportunities to all these reality shows now.
You know what? I'm going to spank you for that.
Thank you, Claudia.
And what I'm going to say about those reality shows.
Wait, what's her name? Claudia in the movie?
It was Claudine.
Oh, Claudine.
In the movie with the 6
that's
children.
The movie, right?
With the 6
Look,
children.
That's the picture.
Yeah, there it is. Claudine. That's with James Earl Jones.
She still found a man.
Yeah, she. Did you know what? Do not be playing around.
Wait, but what was her actual name?
Her actual name was Diane Carroll, but her real birth name was Carol Diane. Oh, so she flipped it when she came to Hollywood.
Carol Diane. She changed it to
Diane Carroll. But she definitely was an absolutely breakthrough entertainer because she allowed those doors to open. And I want to go back to your comment about the reality stars. Yes, she did open those doors. And although
she probably didn't imagine they would be doing what they're doing today.
Probably not. But no, she just died today. So
no, I'm saying when she opened that door.
But she watched, now, like, oh my God, no. But I wanted to say what she did. She did open the opportunity. Do not interrupt my point here. No, I'm messing with you. But no, she did open up the doors for black women to be on television. She became a really beautiful model in her career as well. She was a model before she did the Julia sitcom, and I was a little girl when that came on. But we watched it. I watched it faithfully weekly.
And that was probably just the start of it, because now that allowed, black women or black producers to be producing the shows, directing the shows. So that was just the start of
it was a path. It was a door open. Yeah. It was a door open. Be ready. What did it say for the opportunity for the door to open? So when the door opened, she walked through it. Other people had made a path and did movies and theater, but for her to be the first black African American person on national television,
really big.
That was super big. And my point about the reality stars, which I'm not going to allow to die, was simply this: she did open up that path for them, and those girls are now getting checks. And maybe it's not in the way that we all would say that we approve of or whatever it is, but for them to be able to change their lives and do something different and open up a path for their children, I respect that still.
And I think it also gives them opportunity to learn and educate themselves, because prior to the opportunity, they might not have been in a situation where they could learn or grow or become better, because sometimes majority of the women are probably coming from poverty, or very broken situations.
Or it's entertainers. We got Candy Burns, so.
Well, yeah, but like other shows, maybe like a Love and Hip Hop, some of those
okay.
people, those reality shows.
Categories here. Okay.
Yeah, you know, it gives them, like a Black China, you know, it gives them opportunity to provide for their family and to also grow and educate, because now you went from a reality star to an entrepreneur.
Exactly. That was my point in saying that Diane Carroll opened the doors and put Black women on television. And even though it might not be in the best role or starting off in the best roles with the hip hop, but we got to understand that the people that produce those shows, they know what they're doing. So they're just depicting a certain type of image. Even with Diane Carroll back in when she did Julia, she was a single mom with a son. Her husband had died in Vietnam. That was the opening story for her to be this African American on television. She was a nurse and a single mom, but her husband had died. So no, she was a widow. So her husband had died, but they still portrayed that image of a Black woman in a home by herself. And I didn't like that part, because that could have been programming us and setting a path as well. So it had its cons and it had its pros, but the pros were more beneficial, I think.
I do want to touch in on the part where you said the portrayal, you know, also the movie Claudine. Is it Claudine?
Yeah, it was Claudine.
Claudine, in the movie, she had, 6, 7 kids and was on welfare?
Right.
You know, so that portrayed no man in the house, all these kids, you know, different baby daddies, and no foundation for two parents. Okay, but she did find a husband with those 6, 7 kids, so it's still possible for love, ladies. You gotta keep that in mind.
But here, we're from a bird's eye view.
No, I'm kidding. But it was a portrayal that they in the movie they showed the portrayal.
Yeah, that was one aspect.
Having those kids,
that was
not
one
having
aspect.
a man, and on welfare.
Yeah, but that was one perspective. And the other perspective, it was a reality that was becoming a reality in the community, and there were women in the house with multiple children without any baby daddies, or maybe not the baby daddy, but she showed that you can still survive. It showed the challenges that she had. I had 6 children. Okay, and so the challenges of dealing with all these different children with different personalities and different needs and different wants, it was very difficult. But she still managed to get herself up, get on that bus, and ride a long way and work, and then come back home and still love her children, to the best of her ability, and then still try to find time to find love. So just imagine everything that she was doing before the man, without the man, and then have the ability to still find love. So I thought that was powerful. It was strength there. It was strong. It was showing that you can never give up.
That's a good perspective.
Yeah, that's bird's eye. Never give up, and understand that there are challenges, but you have to get over them. She could not collapse. She had 6 children depending on her with different baby daddies. And the kids were smart-mouthed, and they all loved their mom, but they all were at that stage and point of growing and developing in their own lives and had to make decisions. So it was really rough for her as a Black woman, but it showed the strength, showed the power. It showed that it can be done and that we can never give up, whether it's 2-parent home or rather it is a single mother, a single father. We have to keep pushing, and we can never give up. And I think that's the legacy that she's leaving, opening doors. She did a lot of fabulous other things as well, but also showing in those 2 movies. You know, they were early in her career. You know, she did the nightclub thing. She married a nightclub owner.
Those are just the only movie I think I've saw her be in. So that's the only one I kind of remember. And I've seen the pictures.
You saw those movies. You saw that. You saw Claudine at home. Yeah. Because I have that on, DVD. So, and I love that movie, and I have my moments when I will pull it out and watch it. So you are real familiar with that because your mom loved her because she set boundaries. And I also want to talk about her marriages. She was married quite a few times, but each person that she married, it was advantageous to her in her career. No, really, she married a nightclub owner, and she was a beautiful singer. She married a retail individual. Some good choices she made. The guys that she married, maybe not who she had a baby by, but in the movie. No, we're talking about her real life.
Oh, okay, her real life. She married.
She always married people that had stature or people that would be able to, even if they didn't help in her career. Had good choices. Yeah. She didn't say in the movie she married the garbage man. But in real life, she's nowhere near that. Yeah. Okay, and then
everybody has some type of status.
Right. But she did a really good. She was really one of our legends, and she was true to the game, and she opened up those doors for every Black woman that is on television in 2019. And she died at 84. So I want to give that tribute to her. as a beautiful black
Nowadays,
woman.
that seems like an older age. Usually seems like a lot of people are dying a lot younger. She lived a good life.
Yeah, she did. And she was able to live and see a lot of changes. And that's the thing.
Yeah.
To see a lot of things
Is that
change.
sad that I said 84 is a good age to pass?
No, it's not sad. It's a reality.
Yeah.
It's a reality. My auntie just passed, and she was 83,
83.
I think. It's 81 or 83, I'm not sure. But she was right there. So that might be a good thing to live to be 83.
You have the opportunity.
Yeah, she saw a lot of changes in our society, a lot of changes with her.
Mm-hmm.
And
a lot of different eras.
Yes. She watched all of us come through certain doors. And so for her, my hat is off to her. But yeah, so that was my sad news for today. It was simply that happened. But
Well, it sounds sad, but it was also a blessing.
yes, she lived
like
a
you
blessing.
said, she
Yes.
opened so many opportunities for the next generation and other people to come through. So,
And I think that's important. I also want to know that, okay, so this is what I did. I had something on my mind that I want to share with you that I thought would be good, but maybe we could do it after break.
okay, so we'll take a quick break.
It's a quick break.
And we'll be right back.
Thank you. Welcome back to Morris Media Studios Live, and welcome to the New Level Convo with Brenda and Khadija.
Yes.
Hi. So, you know what? I was trolling this internet. I'm serious. I'm trolling all the time now. And so one of the stories I trolled across was about a police officer that went into the wrong location, shot and killed a person, went to court, exactly with an African American judge, and it was an African American family, and it was a Caucasian cop, and the cop shot the guy and only received 14 years, I think it was, and 5 years up.
Well, no, I'm not sure if you're talking about the woman cop.
Yeah, the woman cop.
Yeah, she was from years? Dallas, Texas. 10? Yeah, she received 10 years.
Okay,
they found her guilty, and she was facing life, and they found her guilty and sentenced her to 10 years. But she'll probably get off in 2. Yes. Maybe 3 with good behavior.
Wow. So what do you think about that?
I've seen people go to, I've seen stories where people went to jail for, lesser crimes and more time. So it's a little baffling, but I guess it's some type of victory that she is being punished for her actions, because I don't know. The story still doesn't make that much sense to me because she lived in this was supposed to be her neighbor. I'm not sure if they lived next door to her or on the level above. And she walked into his apartment thinking it was hers and shot and killed him. So it's just still kind of like, I just could never imagine walking into the wrong place, assuming it was mine, thinking it's an intruder. And I automatically, I don't know. Like, it's kind of hard to still understand the story. And the family was so genuine and sincere with her, and I don't know. I feel like...
Okay, so the story is that the cop went into her neighbor's. Yeah. This is where she lived.
Yeah.
Right?
She was off duty, but she had her uniform on.
But at this particular point, that's where it gets a little sketchy right there. Because if she lived there, she walked into another individual's apartment and shot and killed that person on an accident.
Yeah.
So she was delirious when she got off of work. I mean, how do you justify that? Or what was the argument? I would have loved to hear that case.
That's why I kind of said it still
that doesn't sound right.
Yeah, just something's still missing.
Your neighbor? I know my neighbors. I don't know them personally, like I know them, but I know their body types. I know that if I visually saw them, I would know that would be my neighbor. Mm-hmm. Okay, but a lot of factors involved. How long did she live there? How long did he live there? There's a lot of stuff. But just off of the information that has been provided, it totally does not sound right. Mm-hmm. But then, if he didn't live with his parents and he lived by himself,
he lived on his own, and she just walked in the wrong apartment.
Well, that sounds like a love triangle going bad. That sounds like a movie.
But except it's real life, and he didn't make it out.
Right, but that's a movie script where you walk in there and you shoot the guy.
Because it's like, how are you walking into the wrong apartment? You didn't use a key. Was the door open? Was it super dark where you just couldn't see anything? It's just kind of hard to justify that.
As a police officer, though,
accident
the whole thing about that as well is that you are a police officer who is who's supposed to be trained to interact with others. So that's a little fishy, a little sketchy.
You have to see how far that training really goes, but
right. But at the end of the day, she already went to court and she was trial. Yeah. She already went through her trial and she was convicted.
And they put in a complaint against the judge because after the judge sentenced her, the judge went and gave her a hug. And I've never seen a judge step off the bench and give the defendant a hug. I've never witnessed that ever. So she stepped off and they filed a complaint against her. And she also gave the ex-officer a Bible. And the brother of the person she shot also came and gave her a hug, and it was very long.
That in itself was beyond all the legal ramifications had already been done, and she had already been sentenced. So at the end of the deal,
I don't know if she was sentenced at that when the judge hugged her. I can understand the brother; he deserves to grieve however he wants, and if he felt like giving love to her was a part of him grieving, I can understand that. But the judge, you're here to do a job. And you shouldn't be stepping off the bench giving anyone a hug, because I've never seen a judge have that much compassion
for anyone.
For anyone.
Wow.
So to see that you had that compassion for a murderer, it's a bit crazy. It's a little, I don't know.
A little odd. But then the bird's eye view that, okay, you went through this. Maybe they really believed whatever her story was, and they saw her pain, bird's eye view. And, okay, so you made it through it. I mean, people are human. People are compassionate. And
I've just never seen someone be that compassionate.
Right. I know, but I'm just saying that.
Let alone a murderer. Like,
well, I think they both serve on justice, the side of justice. So she was a police officer, and the judge was a judge. So they
did say the Dallas police station did back her campaign up when she was running for a judge. So
okay.
Who knows if that has any play in it?
Right. But at the end of the day,
they funded her. So
well, at the end of the day, they both are on the same side of the law.
Yeah.
So they have a connection there, and it wasn't just an average person or a dirty cop with a record and things. I think it was just factors involved. But at the end of the day, it was still weird, and that was something that maybe should not have taken place. And maybe the people reacted because it's not the norm. If it was normal for a judge to do that, that would not have been a problem.
Yeah.
But because it wasn't in the circumstances of the case, I think it brought on more attention that it should.
And the father of the son also was giving a speech. I'm not sure if he was at church or where he was located, but I've seen him giving a speech, and he was saying that he would like to be friends with her in the future.
Okay, let's stop the story.
What do you think of that? He said he wanted to.
Oh, wait a minute! You just sent everything in a whole nother direction. No, he literally said those words.
He said, even though he lost,
his brother,
his son, even though he took a loss,
it's not even the brother.
The brother was at the courtroom, and he gave the woman, the ex-cop who shot his brother, a hug.
Oh,
but later in another location, I'm not sure where the father was. The father gave a speech and said that, even though he took a loss, in the future, he would like to be friends with Amber Geyer, which is the ex-cop who shot his son. He said he would like to be friends with her in the future.
Okay, all right.
Black people are so forgiving. That's what I took from it.
That's a bird's eye view. Let's go there.
Yeah.
That was very forgiving.
We take on a lot. And
that was very, very forgiving. Yeah. I would say that
I could have built too soon, for me. Because, I just would have been so devastated because that's something I could never get back.
Right.
Or someone I could never get back. And
it wasn't accidental. He didn't die of his own accord. So for your life to be taken, that's different.
Yeah, so it's kind of hard, and I'll be a little baffled.
It just seemed like something else may have been going on. I'm sorry, I don't mean to cut you off either, but it seemed like it could have been something, because if there's a love triangle or something going on there, I just can't get past that. I know, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to be judgmental, but those are the thoughts that are running through my mind, that in order for me to just there's a major piece of the puzzle missing that we may never find out, because now everything has went through the legal system and she has received her sentence, and so all the investigation has been done, and what they did not expose, we will not know. So I don't want to just really assume or let my mind.
Like something is missing.
Definitely, the puzzle is totally not complete, or it's complete with the wrong piece.
Yeah. Now, and it's just a little crazy to me, because I just feel like if the roles were reversed and the gentleman that was accidentally shot had accidentally walked into her apartment, the Caucasian woman, Amber, would it have been so much compassion for him? And I just feel like it wouldn't have been. So
I think because our history shows that it's not. So that's a fair statement, that what you're saying.
Probably wouldn't have got a black judge.
Well, our history shows that it does not work like that for certain people, for people of color. It just does not work. And so that's part of the injustice that we face on a daily basis. And don't let me get started on that, because I read Frederick Douglass' narratives. And one of the things he did say that I will continue to repeat, because I don't think we're getting it as a complete culture, collective culture, let me say that, is that injustice is going to continue on until we as the culture put a stop to it. Yeah. And so for us, and that was 1851, and now we are presently in 2019.
Going in 2020.
So that was the mindset of a black man then. And we're still faced with those injustices today through the sentencing, through our legal system, just period, from jobs all the way around. But I do not want to keep pointing the finger. What I would like to do is say, what is the solution for us? Yeah. And that's what Nip saw, the solution on a whole not just a narrow one perspective. Yeah, stop complaining. And what can we do? What are you doing? What am I doing? It's the same thing with our neighborhoods. It's the same thing with us, just period. Changing that and reversing the way that we are received and perceived. And it doesn't matter how they perceive, anyone else perceive you, it's how you perceive yourself. And if we can change our own perception of ourselves and not think bad of ourselves, not think negatively, and not accept all the things that we do accept, not live in the neighborhoods that are not worth $1 million because we refuse to keep them up, not take care of the business. We have to start being responsible for it, and we have to start doing better. So all that led to to my rant this morning, which is true, that we have to do better as a collective whole. And until we can get that reprogrammed in our mind, just as we were programmed, we have to deprogram. It's just like our children, our grandchildren, our nieces, anybody that you can touch to deprogram their mind to understand who they are and what must be done for us to have a better life. Please do that. Please do that, because I try to.
Yeah. And just how you said, I know this might be a little off topic, but when you do better or you want better, it just reminds me of, it could be anything in life, but Sierra, Russ, what is it, Wilson now?
Yes, Sierra Wilson.
Sierra, didn't want the life that she had with her first baby's father, and changed and married and is, happy and having a beautiful life. Same thing for Cassie. She was with Diddy for 10 years?
Right.
And within the last year, she's married, have a baby with someone else. So it's like,
I'm feeling happy.
Yeah, that's a small example of, if you want better, you could do better, learn to be better.
Exactly. And that's the transformation as well. And that's about the growing and development and changing and knowing that what I once did, I no longer want to do that. And what was that? I believe it was Einstein who said that if we continue to do the same thing over and over and we expect a different result, then we're the ones that are insane. So each of them changed their reality.
Yeah.
Changed their situation.
Knew they deserve better.
Absolutely. And that's what all of us, period.
That's how everyone have to look at it, that you deserve better.
What do you deserve? Yeah. What is your purpose? How do you see yourself? Those are questions that we all have to ask ourselves and deal with on a daily basis. Even though we move through this society on a schedule, we have to do this, 8 o'clock, it's time to go to work, it's this and that. But even with all that going on, and as you do these things, you still have to think, what is my purpose? Because each one of us has to have a purpose here. And after reading my Frederick Douglass, after reading that book, I'm speaking on that because the things that touch me or make me think or provoke me to have a different concept or perspective of something, I am going to share that. But he shared all the things that we went through, and he still prevailed. So it's
again, that's going through
traveling on your journey. It's your journey that you're going through.
So much and still overcome. And unless you know you're stronger than what you think, you really, really are.
And one of the things I wish we can do a lot more assisting in is letting people know that they can. The battle is not over. It's never giving up. It's trusting yourself. It's knowing who you are. It's making sure that you keep moving. Everything is not going to move smoothly all the time. There are going to be hiccups. But we have to learn how to adjust and adapt to those hiccups in our life. Because sometimes it can be overwhelming. But all of this is all positive, and it's all saying the same thing, is that we just have to do better. We have to move forward with a positive, productive, progressive attitude and mentality.
It's all the same message, but you got to say it a few times for different people to catch it.
No, I understand.
And sometimes even for yourself.
No, for real, seriously. I was about to say I understand stagnation, and I would be the first one to admit that I've had opportunity. Wasn't an opportunity in one perspective, but to experience stagnation. I was reading this Bible verse once, and it talked about the people being stranded in the desert for 40 years. And seriously, as I read the verse, my mind was thinking, how in the world, when you have all this goodness at your fingertips, are you stuck and stranded in the desert for 40 years? And it was a lot of people. But then recently,
touch back into reality.
Yes, it came back up.
People have been stranded in the hood for 40 years.
No, for real, stagnated in life. All those things, and that's just a story to show us that it can happen to us if we are not prepared. If we're not moving in the direction of being prepared, we can be stagnated. I've been stagnated. So the story really hit home. And it hit me because I said, oh my God, I was really there a little bit upset about it in the desert for 40 years. What
How is that
happened?
possible?
Yes, after you beat all the odds,
How
you
is that
came through
even
everything,
possible?
and how could you just get stuck? And then it hit me one day about life. You can be stuck, but do not allow that to stop you.
Yeah.
Because people face a lot of things. I was trolling the internet yesterday, and one of the people that I know said that depression is real.
Because you get trapped in your own mind.
Right.
It's all about the thoughts.
She said depression is real, and I just went and hit.
You can let that overtake you.
Right. You cannot. I totally hit her back and said, whatever it is, focus on something positive, something that's going to make you feel a different way. Because whatever.
Sometimes that's hard to do.
I know it is, but you have to push through it.
No, I understand.
We have to push through whatever it is.
It's easier to be negative and sad and depressed and do nothing than to get out there, work hard, stay positive, and grind. So
no, seriously, the one thing that we are super good at, most people,
again.
one thing we're really, really good at, I want to say this,
doing nothing. I'm just to do nothing at all.
Khadija. Oh my God. Yeah, which is true. No, or to be completely judgmental and to be negative or to tear into each other. Wow, with a drop of a dime, it can happen. So that's why when you don't do those things and you challenge yourself and you are prepared, the doors open themselves because you fought against those negative vibes and all those things that would cause you to react a particular way, even if someone is being a certain way to you. And that's not easy to not take it personally. But we have to learn that everything is not to be taken personally. There are lessons in every experience, every walk of our journey, and we're supposed to get the lessons to do better and to pass those lessons on to the next generation or anybody that you come into contact with that you can use.
And while we're speaking of that, I just want to, challenge myself, yourself, and any of the viewers to do something today that your future self will thank you for. Do something today that your future self would thank you for, whether it's run a mile, eat an apple, read a book, work a little harder, say something kind to someone. Just do something that your future self will look back and say, like, oh, I'm so glad I did that. And I challenge all of us to do that.
Oh, my God. That's awesome. So now make sure that you come back with feedback on what you did today. Once we leave here. I mean, I've already done a couple of things I can name, but I'll take the challenge in a little bit deeper.
But try to do a few more.
Just challenge
try to be
yourself.
better. Yeah, try to be better. Try to be better. You already did 5, let's aim for 10.
Right. So at this point, I will definitely challenge myself to do better. Yeah. But I wanted to talk a little bit about real estate this morning because I think it's important. I really do. I want us to understand the importance of ownership. Mm-hmm. It is really something to be proud of. It is something that once you do it, it's an achievement. Mm-hmm. It's not difficult for everyone. And for those of you that already have your own businesses, you have your own homes, you have your own income property, you have your own Airbnb, how do you pronounce it?
Airbnb is just renting out your own
yes,
property.
if you have that, whatever you're doing in that field and you're achieving something, I am proud of you and I'm grateful that you have the knowledge and information to make those particular moves. Mm-hmm. So for the ones that don't or haven't or even thought about it, just even if it's a thought, the thought process can create a result. So don't be fearful. Don't be lazy. Don't procrastinate. Call. Come into my office. Find out. Ask questions. You can hit me on the Facebook. I'm always live on Facebook on Fridays. And if I'm there, then you can always hit me with a question.
And what I like about real estate so much is because there's so much opportunity. Even if you own one property or a commercial building or, you're leasing property, it's just so much opportunity and build that equity, get that money. And I like that there's no cap. It's no cap on how much money you can make, how much you can generate. And it's just so much opportunity out there. So don't be afraid to be prepared for your opportunity that's coming. So like she said, even if you have property or if you don't have property or if you even just have a question, you can always get information. So when you are prepared, you know what to do. You
have the proper answers to questions because there are no obligations to get information.
Yeah.
The obligation starts once we move past that point. But to give the information is totally free.
Exactly.
And it's important that you get it so that you can make a better choice. And I think that part of our changing, developing, and moving the culture, moving the marathon is having knowledge. The more knowledge we have on a topic and a subject, the better decisions that we can make. I always say that. And I wanted to speak a little bit more in detail today. Normally, I just go on about residential, but I am really, really happy to say that the commercial part of real estate is just as big of an investment as the residential is. Commercial meaning warehouses, meaning industrial areas where you could create a business. You not only want to run a business, but you can purchase your own, which comes with the property. There are just a lot of avenues and a lot of things that you can do, and the knowledge never stops. I told you yesterday I had one of the most interesting, refreshing courses, which we talked about how to take title to property. You need to understand how to take title. I cannot legally tell you what to do, but I can give you information that you can process. You can take it back to your own attorney. You can research it. But my mission is to make sure that I get the information out to you. I want you to be receptive to it. I want you to call. I want you to ask questions. I'm not saying that I have to be your real estate agent. I'm not saying that. I want to be. Now, don't misunderstand me. I want to be, but I will get greater satisfaction out of making sure that you have the appropriate information. Because wherever you use it, it's factual, it's true, and it will help you. And that's the most important part. But I want to go back to the commercial real estate. I think that that's awesome that we can do so many things with that. I was investigating a little bit more about the commercial side of the business, and I found it quite interesting. How you can turn your money, how you can add on to your business, how you can take a warehouse and just complete just whatever it is.
Imagine you're leasing 4 or 5 units and you're probably charging $2,000 to $3,000, and then now you have a commercial building where now you're charging $4,000 to $7,000.
You know, $10.
Yeah,
it's
depending on your area,
on what you're doing. Exactly. And so, exactly, that's why I think it's so important just to get the knowledge on what is available to you, what it is you can do, from first-time home buyers to people that just say, okay, you know what, I need an investment piece of property to write off as taxes, or I really do want to have an investment piece so that my grandchildren would be a little bit stable. You're not just coming out the gate with nothing. And that's one of the things we have to make sure that we do is set our children up and set our youth up so that they can have some capital to work with to make some great decisions, along with all the great education that we are applying to them.
That's a real legacy.
It is. One of the things is that we can have the information, but we have to understand how to process it. And real estate is a very good situation to invest in because it will gain you money in the future.
I've learned a lot of things doing real estate that I don't know if I would have learned not doing it.
I don't think you would have.
Yeah, I learned a lot of things from real estate. It's so much knowledge, so much information. And like I said, even if you aren't ready to buy or you are buying, you could never have too much information. And with good information, you make better choices.
Yes, and I also wanted to speak on the fact that purchasing a home is a really big move, or any type of property. So if you come prior to the purchase and you get the information, you understand the contract, what your obligation is, what you're responsible for, what should happen. It's a lot of things that happen that are one-time things that happen during the purchase, and then there are things that will continue on once you actually are involved with the purchase and you've closed the deal, but you're still in the process of purchasing because you'll be purchasing until you pay it off. But there's a lot of information that is important for you. And my job is to make sure that I deliver that to you. And I really like to take a client and sit down with them, discuss the contract with them before there's anything done, and to find out what is your actual goal, what are you trying to achieve in this particular situation. Because as I said earlier, there are all type of things that you can do with the real estate. You could purchase and just do the Airbnb. Am I saying that correctly?
Yeah.
Okay, a little twist with that.
I think depending on what type of property you have too, you'll make more money leasing it on an Airbnb because it's a shorter duration. You could charge more money. There's just so many options.
And even with the rental.
Yeah.
I even suggested to one of my clients that was still renting that they purchase units and they continue to rent.
Yeah.
And allow the units to
pay itself.
Pay for themselves, and then have capital to put aside for repairs and could possibly pay where you are. Mm-hmm. But whatever it is, it's still freeing up money for you to be able to do something else or to save, to make another investment, because we do have to understand how to diversify our capital. Mm-hmm. And I think that will make a change in how we see each other, how we move, how we survive. Just really, it's serious. That's serious to me, because as I get better at what I'm doing and I understand things on a deeper level, it really is important that we look into how to secure ourselves. Mm-hmm. And land has always been the really big thing. Mm-hmm. And there are just so many ways to do it. And that's the thing. I also want to talk about, because the reason I'm saying these things is because this week that just passed was one of my real estate weeks where I just really paid attention to the educational part of it. I had an opportunity to be in a session of a broker, well-known broker, breaking down the contract, because it's always changing. But they absolutely went through the contract. I mean, you cannot do 10 pages in 30 minutes. So you have to take time to do it. And that's why be prior to the purchase, when you have the concept or you have the idea that this is what you want to do, as we start the process, we start learning the contract. So that you're not, sign here, sign there, and sign here, or initial here, initial here. You know what it says. No, you need to understand what it's saying, because you're making an obligation and a commitment. And that's part of my job that I really like, is sharing that information. That's really off the chain, because when people get knowledge, they get empowered. And as I said this week, I did the document purchase contract when they go over the documents again, so that I can be better at it. I went over the how to take title, because we have to understand how to take title. There was a case that they discussed in the class about, there were 10 people on this particular loan. Just real briefly, for those of you who just tuned in and just started following, I'm just giving a scenario about a real estate transaction that was shared with me. But there were like 10 people on this one loan. And one of the individuals died. So now we have 10 people on the loan, on the house, and 10 people wanting to do different things. Well, in one of the situations out there, 2 of the 10 people were married. So you had spouses that had a different opinion than what should happen. But I'm saying all that to say, if they all had taken title in a particular way, it would have made the transaction so much smoother. But not having the knowledge and understanding how to take title, it was taken in different ways, which created the probate to last longer. It was, and saying probate, there was no, living trust. So it had to go to probate, and on top of going to probate, it took additional time, which ate up more money that they all could have had, because of the way in which everyone took title. So it is important to understand how to take title to property, and that's why I enjoyed that class so much, because he broke that down. Again, it's a refresher. So I think my thing with the real estate is that it's bigger than just a sale and a purchase. Mm-hmm. It becomes a lifestyle. And it's a lifestyle that has to be maintained, but there is a process to it. And for everyone that wants the information and wants the knowledge, I would love for you to give me a call. I'm at ACB Real Estate in Cerritos, California. And you can reach me at area code 562-391-5848, ACB Real Estate. And I wanted you to introduce yourself and your company. We both do real estate, but we work at 2 separate companies, which is awesome, because we get the knowledge from both ends, and she shares with me and I share with her. And so we both stay on top of what's going on. So Khadija, what is the name of your company?
I'm with Rodeo Realty. My main office is in Calabasas, but we have 12 offices all in California. And so like she said, we both do real estate. We both get information from both of our companies, come together and learn from each other. And like we said, there's so much opportunity out there that we have to get on top of. And like I said, I wouldn't have learned a lot of the things that I learned if I wasn't in real estate. And it educated me in so many different ways.
Even from the leasing?
Everything. probate, the living trust, just wills, how they're all different. I wouldn't have learned that if I wasn't in real estate, I don't think. No, the depth that I have it at now.
Right, which was important, and it's one of the reasons why you did that.
Very important. Very important.
But I want to say that the information that I give you is information that is for your own personal processing, for you to process. But you always have to consult an attorney, talk to your legal advisor, if you have one. And if you don't, there are lines that you can call to get all the information. There are helplines, there are real estate helplines. There are a lot of things that are available to you as a client. I just want to give you the information so that you can access them, access everything that's available to you. I'm not an attorney. I'm not a real estate attorney. I am a real estate agent who has knowledge and information, who is willing to share with others. But once you decide, whatever you decide, it has to be between you, your legal team, or an attorney, or the legal hotline, or do your research. So it's good to give the information.
Yes.
So from Calabasas to Cerritos, we can help you. But I want to say it's been such a pleasure. I totally enjoyed my last week spending this time with you. What are you looking forward to the next week? What's going on?
Work. Getting out there working, bettering myself, as we always state, but really just working.
Okay, that's important.
What about you?
I just want to leave with, if we can do anything to improve ourselves, elevate others, try to do that. She challenged us. What was the challenge again?
Try to do something that your future self would appreciate or thank you for.
Be appreciative today.
Like I said, whether it's take a walk, trying to eat healthy, being kind to someone, doing something for someone, thinking about whatever it is, just do something that maybe in a month or 2 years or 5 years, your future self will say, I'm so glad I did that. Looking to starting a business, looking to real estate, whatever it is, just something that you'll
progressively
be thankful for.
Moving forward. You would like to be moving progressively.
Something that you'll be thankful for in the future.
And I want to close out with giving a shout out to my cousin Rennis. Like I said earlier, that my auntie passed, one of my aunties, and he did such a fabulous job. Rennis, I am so proud of you, and I want to say that everything was absolutely beautiful. And I want everybody to have a wonderful week. Enjoy yourself. Think of good thoughts, positive things, and moving with that positive energy, because whatever you put out there in the universe, I personally believe it comes back to you. And when you look at somebody and you see the beauty in them, it's just a reflection of the beauty that lives inside of you. When I look at you and tell you how pretty I think you are, it's first of all from within, and then secondly, it's the beauty that I see in myself.
Oh, so compliment yourself. But you guys, thank you so much for tuning in.
Well, Morris Media Live.
Yes, and you guys have a lovely week.
Next Convo. Okay, so that was awesome. We're